lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name's Ryan, and today I'm going to be talking about Jim Silke's Bettie Page, Queen of the Nile. But before I get into it, I just want to thank everybody that is already subscribed to the channel. We appreciate all the support. Show us over here, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and check out some of the rest of the dope content we have. We got interviews, we have overviews like this, we have indie creator spotlights, we go through artist editions, hardcovers, all that good stuff. So hit that subscribe button. Now let's get into this book. So this is a late discovery by me. This is a reprint. Dynamite did this. Originally came out from Dark Horse. Jim Silke, I am familiar with. There's another Dark Horse project that I got that's a little oversized, single issues. Also, buying this was kind of a catalyst from watching the Dave Stevens documentary that came out, I think about a little over a year ago. It was on Kickstarter. You know, Bettie Page, I think, maybe like some other people, not a lot of people, I discovered Bettie Page through Dave Stevens' depiction of her. You know, his use of her likeness in Rocketeer. I was watching documentary, I was watching Jim Silke, and I saw, you know, it kind of made me want to check out some of the other Bettie Page content. And then I saw that he did this book, and I had to do it. I had to pick this book up, and it did not disappoint. Jim Silke draws some of the most beautiful women, along with Dave Stevens, in my opinion. You know, they're right there. And, you know, this has even got a special thanks to Dave Stevens for creating Bettie Page comics, because I don't think a lot of people knew of her maybe at that point. You know, she was a pinup girl in the 50s. Dave Stevens kind of reignited that love for Bettie Page and the pinup girl. And in my opinion, she's one of the most beautiful pinup girls to ever do it. And I think this is really something that really stands out to me about this book too, is the lettering. Phenomenal. Lettering, to me, like the hand lettering, is a lost art. I think you can see it here. You know, you have Bettie Page, who's now going to be transported through time. Weird concept, but, you know, cool nonetheless. She wakes up, she gets transported into the jungle, and of course she's naked. And this is definitely has a lot of that in this. Wasn't the catalyst, and he does a great job of getting these moments of like where they almost look like, you know, pinup photographs that you would see, right? Like he gets the eyes, the expressions on the face so well, and she ends up meeting this jungle boy who looks kind of like Mowgli from Jungle Book. His name is Abu, and she instantly is told that she's gonna be his slave, and she's like, "We'll see about that." And you know, she's left naked. All that she can find is her bra, and now we get these priests of Rongda who come into the mix, and Abu has her follow, and all the while she's, you know, the bottom part of her is naked. Obviously it's covered up, but, you know, a lot of adventures through the jungle, and he has this chest full of lingerie, like, and doesn't even know, how do they know her? And he says, priests know on Jungle Planet, all eyes know Bettie Page. So she's got this, like, she's known by everybody. And Lord Dong offers much gold so he can make his bride, make her slave queen of the terrible he, mad pirate king of Macau. Bride, slave queen, mad pirate, oh wow. And I love this. As she's saying this, it's all different lettering. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And like I said, Jim Silke, beautiful women that he draws. And all she's thinking about, she's got a photo shoot, and he's also gonna do some swank under the counter nudes. And I'll send you a set if you help. So she's trying to get back to New York. Now she takes on this, like, you know, she's in the 25th century. And so she's got this, like, sci-fi gear that she dons. Just beautiful. Again, every single, you could almost see, like, that these would be, like, photographs that she would do, you know, for pinups. And all the while, Abu is going to help her do what she needs to do. It's like, Betty will serve Abu in all ways. First will be lips. And she's taken aback, and she's like, I ought to spank you, but then I am your slave. Well, I guess I better try this stuff out. Let's see. Buttons. And as she goes to try it, she notices that she's got this flying jetpack. She's going through the air. and crash lands again, and then we're introduced to somebody else. This guy's not of the jungle, and he just, this sleazy guy with this cigarette hanging out of his mouth. He points a gun, he tells her to strip, and she's like, "You're not going to sell me, are you?" And she's like, "I can't." He's like, "I can't help it. Cutup, it's my character." Which reminds me, leave your bra and panties on. My imagination needs a good workout. And she's just like so taken aback, and she keeps getting put in these precarious situations. Now she's bound up, and then we get the Mad Pirate King of Macau, and all he hungers for is her, and he'll pay whatever price this guy asks. And she's like, "You can't sell me, you can't sell me." And then she wakes up and she's back at her photo shoot, and she realizes she must have been dreaming. But then we see, who's this hanging in the corner? We see Abu. And so throughout this, she just keeps she travels through time. Abu comes to save her. The entire time she's just in her, undergarments. And then, this dude Larry the Horse Pogue comes back and says, "I've got a transporter," and he's like, "Okay, let's see, Times Square, November 25th, 1951, that should suit you." And she's about to get transported home when all of a sudden she's going through and she ends up in ancient Egypt. And now, she comes up and we see her get taken by a pharaoh. And they think that she's the Queen of the Nile, and we're going to see she looks exactly like Cleopatra. She's cleaned up. She's then presented to the King of the Nile. And then we see she's presented to this mummy. It's been 2,000 years he's been waiting. So fill your dance with all the delights of the living flesh and make him hungry, so hungry that he will return from the dead. So she's dancing in front. And what happens next? Everybody is entranced with her. And that's another thing, is that she has this sway over men. And that is prevalent throughout this entire story too. And we see this mummy come out looking like Boris Karloff, which I'm assuming is why Jim Silke gave a thank you to Boris Karloff in here, because he definitely has that look to him. The mummy is starting to have his way. And what happens next? She throws down this thing full of fire, and he lights up like straw and burns to nothing but ashes. They think she's a demon. Take her below, and she's gonna get trapped in this sarcophagus. And as she's gonna get lowered into this underground tomb, she's saved by none other than Cleopatra herself, and Abu is now under Cleopatra's sway as well. And I love that Abu is just like her hero throughout this. He's always by her side. When at first he wanted her to be her slave. And then we see Cleopatra is almost identical. And so now she's going to use her. She's going to present her to Julius Caesar to merge their two kingdoms. And so she sends her because, like, well, what if you're going to seduce him? What if she gets killed? She's wondering, right? And she presents herself wrapped up in this rug, lands right in front of Julius Caesar, and immediately, he's just entranced with her. You are Egypt, I am Rome, and we have obviously been made by the gods for each other. So now, even though this isn't her time period, she's now so taken aback by Julius Caesar and now is enraptured with him. And so she's, now she's ready to stay, and she's kind of forgotten about where she needs to go. And now that, she's played her part, Cleopatra now strips her and is now going to try to entice Julius Caesar herself. But he sees something's wrong, and he can feel the difference because, again, that sway that she holds over men, and again, uses her animal magnetism to kind of have the guards let her loose. Again, the art is fantastic in here. I love that Bettie Page is basically at odds with Cleopatra. All the while, Julius Caesar is, just so infatuated with her. Fun story, beautiful artwork. It's not overly gratuitous. Obviously, definitely showing how sexy and beautiful Bettie Page is. Again, just the different poses, the facial expressions are just so spot on. I love this. She's got her flying jetpack again. Cat fight between Cleopatra and Bettie Page. I like that she says, "I'm sorry about this, but you've been asking for it, and I'm sure the readers were looking forward to this too as it comes to its conclusion. And, Bettie Page wins out. She's now Queen of the Nile. But, she can't change history. Here comes Larry the Horse Pogue back again, and he's going to help her get back to her original time of 1951. And all of it's done through this temple inside the pyramid. And she gets sucked through this time warp, and it ends right there. Get some ads for some other Bettie Page stuff. But this was definitely a fun read. With beautiful women throughout this entire comic. So if you're a fan of Bettie Page, you're a fan of, the pinup girl, this is fantastic. And Jim Silke is definitely somebody that I will be continuing to seek out some more stuff by him because it's just phenomenal. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video drops. And on that note, I'm out.